Thank you. Thank you very much.
Welcome to Defining Your Terms number 5, Bigotry. Now, you see a lot of folks in these diversity programs or out and about in the world today misuse the different terms that we're defining here. So you kind of see why it is so important to define all these terms in your organization so everybody knows what you're talking about. Here's one of the biggest mistakes that I see out there. Is bigotry the same thing as racism? Well, no, not at all. That is a common misconception. So let's look at some dictionary terms again here as to what we're actually talking about. Bigotry from Google Dictionary. Whenever someone is not tolerant of views, beliefs, or behavior that differ from one's own. Well, that certainly would apply to racism, but that is much broader, isn't it, than basically just not liking people because of their skin color. Well, let's look at the Merriam-Webster dictionary. Whenever someone holds an intolerant devotion to one's own opinions. And I want you to be picking up on this close tie, this synergy between bigotry and intolerance. Dictionary.com. Whenever someone is intolerant of any opinion that differs from their own. And Oxford. Let's see what the Brits think about this. Whenever someone is intolerant towards those who hold different opinions from oneself. Much broader in its definition than most people think. Bigotry is not always racial. It is much broader than that. We sell the term short, but it has this connotation to it that is horrendous. It makes our skin crawl. That's why I like it. I like the term bigotry. Let me tell you what we've been talking about in these podcasts. You show me someone who is intolerant. I will show you someone that is a bully. I will show you an emotional child. And I will show you a bigot. Now, try this on for size. This is great for your diversity program. And again, see why it's so important to define your terms. If I am intolerant, I'm going to pick on you because you're different, because you disagree with me. That's what intolerance is. And remember, that's the lowest standard that we've got. And we can't even hit that. So, if someone is intolerant, I'm going to pick on you and pick on you and pick on you just because you're different. That is a bully. And why do I pick on people who are different? Because if I'm going to bully somebody, why do I do it? What's in it for me? Because I'm an emotional child. I am so much taller when I stand on top of more bodies. I feel better about myself. I know it's a twisted way to look at the world, but you've all met these folks. Now, let me tell you, I run into a lot of folks. They don't mind being called intolerant, probably because they don't know what it means. It really doesn't bother them that much. Well, you're really intolerant. No, okay. Or I'm saying, you're bullying this person. I've actually had folks come back and say, well, yeah, so what? So what? And you might call somebody an emotional child. A lot of folks don't care. Don't care if I'm called intolerant. Don't care if I'm called a bully. Don't care if you call me an emotional child. Now, put your antennas up here. I have never met anyone, and I'm sure they're out there, but I've never met anyone who wasn't horribly offended over being called a bigot. Being called a bigot. I do not want to be labeled a bigot. Even though it's synonymous with intolerant, bully, and emotional child, you kind of see where I'm going here. You define these terms in your organization and you take the time to go through this little exercise here. We're going to call it the way we see it. If you are going to pick on someone because they're different, because they disagree with you, that's a bigot. That's a bigot. We want these words to be radioactive. We do not want somebody to say, well, I don't care if I'm a bigot. They will. So you kind of see, this is a serious situation when 3/4 of everybody you know hates going into work every day. We're failing miserably. We're failing miserably in our tolerance. Well, I'm telling you, if you're going to go down this road, the bullies are going to be upset. That's fine. Because they are hurting your organization. They're making you dysfunctional. You should want an organization where it's okay to disagree. It's okay that people can have differences of opinions and things like this. And I'll tell you right now, some of the greatest disasters in our history have been because if you speak up and disagree with me, I'll put your head on a stick. That's NASA. NASA blew 2 space shuttles out of the air because of bigots. Doesn't have anything to do with race. But I will tell you right now, the people who spoke up and knew that there were problems with Challenger and they spoke up, they got fired. They got fired. How dare you disagree with me? And of course, 17 years later, Columbia. And I will tell you right now, everybody in NASA knew if you disagree with your supervisor, if you go over his head, you'll get fired. That is intolerant. That is bullying. Those are emotional children. And I will tell you point blank, NASA blew 14 astronauts out of the air because the place was run by bigots. That's why to solve the problem, they put the diversity and inclusion people in charge of the culture. That's why. So I'll tell you right now, I want you to come to this conclusion and put it in your workplaces. We are going to enforce that you are not going to persecute anybody who's different. So if you're intolerant, if you're a bully, you're an emotional child, that makes you a bigot. That will make people take attention. And that's what you want. This is not a nice, fuzzy, feel-good program. This is serious stuff. And if you don't believe it's serious stuff, then don't do it. And live with all of the bullying and all of the Wellbutrin that goes with it. And I don't think that's what you want. Well, thank you for taking the time to go through this program with me. If you want more information on these types of topics, please feel free to go to my website at scottwarwick.com or shoot me an email at scott@scottwarwick.com.